Happy Sunday, everybody. Daylight saving time's come in, so we're starting sooner or later. So a little late today. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up here on the YouTube channel and listening, whether podcast or downloading this. While you're here, please go ahead and wipe your feet. Like, subscribe, rate, review. Give us 5 stars. You don't think we deserve it? Let's go ahead and give us 5 anyway. And gift it. We got some fun stuff going on today. Got a lot of topics to dive into from this crazy weekend, and daylight savings times changing. We lost an hour of sleep, and I feel it like 100%. So we got Coop here as usual. We weren't to have a few more, but we had some schedule conflicts, and we will fix that next time and all of that. Coop, man, how you feeling, dog?
I'm doing good. I'm avoiding the sunlight. So we talked about this in the green room. I got a nice little ray of sunshine, so I'm gonna come up close and personal. But yeah, man, it's this is we're talking March 10th. We've got spring game not too far away. You see the shenanigans, the plans, the everything going on with our our coaching staff, and Future Freaks is becoming another one of these great opportunities to come in, get a chance to do some stuff at the Soul Mission, get a chance to really get a good look at some of these kids who, in the 26, 27 class are going to be the big names at the top of all the charts. And so, it's always good when you can do that. Plus, everybody wants to hop on it right then and there and make the commitments, and so we hear a little bit of that. So I appreciate everybody hopping in here. We're happy to talk Sooner football every day of the week, but on a Sunday, it's even better.
Right, we're talking on today, and before we dive into everything, make sure y'all check out the Autograph app. I have the links. I'm loading it into the description below. Check out the Autograph app. We got a partnership with them. It's a new app that basically aggregates sports content. You'll see all the Oklahoma folks in their Oklahoma breakdown, OU Insider, the franchise, all that content's loaded all in that spot. It's pretty cool. Tom Brady's got a promotion going on right now where they're trying to do an elite suite experience for college basketball. So we got to support our guys. They got 20 wins, which is pretty huge based upon the type of season that they've had this year, right? So in the description below, you'll see the links. Please check those out and download the app. Use the promo code UNFAIRSports. Of course, that tells them that I sent you, and then you'll be obligated to make me and Coop your +1 and 2 whenever you win the contest. So just keep that in mind. I think it's for 5 people, so you only get 3. 2, because me and Coop, you, and whoever else you decide to invite. So let's notate that. But no, Future Freaks weekend is awesome. I enjoy these recruiting weekends because that's when you can start getting some insight. This is now the beginning of spring recruiting. This is now the moment where recruiting really starts to ramp up, because the big thing before that is that February is a dead period, and honestly, we were pretty dead ourselves here. It's not much to talk about, right? It's a lot of speculation, and in a lot of capacities, I'd like to talk about things, but at the same time, I don't want to bore y'all too much, right? We want to make sure it's at least some entertainment and fun. But that's where we're going to lead things off. We'll talk Future Freaks. I want to talk about Baker's contract. We'll do that at the back part of the show. And because, former Sooner got himself his contract extension that we were hoping for, and he's with my Buccaneers. So, of course, I'm excited. So I'll have to put together a video to talk about that a little bit more in detail in my Buccaneers creamsicle Baker Mayfield shirt. We're going to have to do that. But outside of that, Coop, man, like, my favorite thing about Future Freaks is that it's usually a lot of the guys that are not for this class, but the next one, usually 26s and 27s. And you start to see, okay, who should we keep our eyes on, right? You had Jonathan Hatton Jr., the 26 running back that's already committed, 6 foot, roughly 200-pound running back. He came in, and the way it sounds is he really loved the additional visit. He is happy about his decision to be a Sooner, and he don't want to be nowhere else. So Oklahoma may have found themselves a great gem in that one. Then you see all the others, but Adrian Peterson's little brother showed up, Nelson Peterson Jr., who's a quarterback, right? It was kind of interesting when I saw that. He's a quarterback. He pulled up. Saw a few other quarterbacks join or whatnot. You even saw Nick Evers' little brother, Drew Evers, the offensive lineman, 4-star 2026 lineman. He pulled
Yeah.
up. Shout out to PG. He's got a long list for me that, and I know he's put his list out on social media, but me and him kind of work together and putting together what we see on social media. A lot of players in town. Pretty excited. But I think the thing that's probably on everybody's attention is the title of this video. Did Oklahoma get some silence, right? Well, y'all know Kevin Sperry, 4-star quarterback for 2025. He always puts his little gif out, his little video out of him and Brent Venables doing this. And when he does that, that means somebody has already committed. And we're anticipating a commitment coming up. So, Coop, when you saw that, what ran through your mind?
Trust the coaching staff, trust the process. Last year at around this time, we had, and through some of these bigger deals, you get whispers of people committing, and sometimes I'm gonna go with this is my very well educated opinion. But I will say this is sometimes these kids come in and they're jacked. They're ready to go. And I believe we saw it with Elijah last year that he was like, yeah, I'm committing. And I think that Emmett was like, okay, cool. So what are you going to do? Go home, talk to your family. He's like, no, I'm done. It's done. Let's do it right now. And sometimes you just can't walk them off and be like, hold on, because I think that there is a plan that happens. I think that there is a plan that goes on to where they want momentum. They want that their name kind of popping up at certain times. And so, Brent Venables has his famous policy that, if you commit, visits are done, and we want to make sure that you're 100%. I don't know about a lot of these kids. I know Owen Hollenbeck, that's 100% type of a boy. He is 100%.
Oh, yeah.
But we had Christian Thatcher during one of his visits, and he was all set to go. And I think that's he was told let's hold off, let's do it in the summer, and a lot was changing, and you saw what happened, what went down with that. Now I do believe that recruitment has gone away quite a bit. He's not dead. I still talk to Christian, and still love that guy, and would love to see him be a Sooner. But this week there were some names being dropped. I think that there is only speculation out here, but we didn't pull up Trent Williams. We're not bringing him back into the fold. That's an inside joke between Jay and I. But there are a couple names out there, and I'll let you divulge those if you want to. It's not Fasusi and Haywood. I think Fasusi is, yeah. If we got Fasusi and Haywood in one weekend, we would have a few more folks on this podcast with us. But both of those guys are looking good. I think that there is some smoke out there with Fasusi in Texas. Don't buy it. Don't buy the smoke. Whatever happens, we've got a lot of folks who are very, very, very in tune with some of these guys. PG is one of our guys who has a good standing, respectful relationship with Fasusi. And he's one of my front runners for who I trust the most at this moment with that recruitment. But at the same time, these are future freaks. These are guys, and when Oklahoma starts calling on you, something's going to eventually happen. Somebody's going to pay attention and watch. Most of these kids who were in town this week, I don't know if you're part of message boards. There's a couple different ones where they have social media feeds. You can go back in. But a couple of these kids will shoot up the rankings, and they're going to get a lot more attention. And I think that that's why the staff says, let's pump the brakes on this, because we don't want guys committing and then getting all this recognition and then being like, Coach, at the time, see what had happened was you don't want those relationships to go south like that. So Topher, hey, how are you doing? Sooner Cowboys, love you guys. T, what's up? Sooner Legends podcast. If you like bringing back old memories and cherishing and relishing in them with somebody else, I do encourage you to check out Sooner Legends podcast too. But yeah, this is a great weekend. A lot of attention is going to be coming out of here. And I would say that we got better this weekend. I like watching stuff about them making smoothies and going through with the nutritionist and stuff like that. It's just a lot of fun, going on right now.
So if you hypothetically would guess if there was some silence, who would be the two you would say probably gave a silent commitment?
I mean, Malik Hawkins. He and if you are
Loving
reading
it
the
in the
chat,
comments.
yeah, Malik Wilkins. But you've also got Trent Wilson, and I think that is. I mean, like you said, it is. If that happens, that's awesome. I respect these guys, and I want their process to be enjoyed. I want them to get what they're supposed to get out of it. But yeah, if those are two guys, again, like I said, I firmly maintain my stand that a couple of them will be told, "Hey, listen, we want to use you to help, start the momentum and get that momentum going on." And but there's a lot of football to be played between showing up in Norman and today for some of these kids. And so, but bro, how old do you feel when Adrian Peterson's little brother is here? I wasn't. Caden Jones was in the house too. I ran against his dad, in track back in high school. So that makes me feel extremely old.
Yeah, Kiwan went to high school with my sister, and so yeah, it's funny because he's my class, and so we're
Yeah.
one, and so it's just when I saw him and saw his son, I'm just like, oh goodness, I'm old. It hits you when you start
Yeah.
seeing people you went to school with their kids is populating. Like you said, Adrian Peterson, little brother, being there and everything. But I mean, I like the fact that we got Michael Hawkins' little brother here, and he's already started receiving his crystal balls to Oklahoma. People anticipate that he's going to end up being a Sooner, and to be honest, I'm very much sold on him being in the class. So
Mm-hmm.
he's not someone for me to think that he wouldn't be in there. And dude, he's talented. I mean, he's what, 6'1" ish, maybe between 6 foot and 6'2". I mean, I need official measurements on a lot of these kids because their account says one thing, their huddle says another, and then every recruiting site is something different. But Malik Hawkins is one that if there was one I was to guess, I think he would be, because if I'm correct, he tweeted out that he will be doing his, yeah, he did. He tweeted out at the beginning of the month that he's going to be doing his commitment early April, in
Mm-hmm.
which his brother was kind of in a similar case. So if I'm looking at this correctly, I'm sensing that he's 6'2" is what he has himself listed. 6'2", 180 corner, which y'all love big, tall corners. I sense that if anything, he's going to probably be the one that commits, is the one that went ahead and gave it silent if he's planning on doing it early April. Now, I mean, I have no inside info. I'm reading the tea leaves just like Coop is. So I'm wondering what that looks like if he
It's
ends up going ahead and gets that commitment.
and it's hard, and so there's iterations of, and there's guys in the chat, there's guys that'll watch this, there's iterations of who wants to be that guy to break news, to put in a prediction, to be one of the first ones, right? And
Right.
that seems so much fun. But I think the closer I get to like meeting and having conversations and relationships with some of these recruits and players and stuff like that, like it's drawn off of me to ruin that.
Right.
Because when they tell us stuff, it's you don't want to say something out loud, and you can get a reputation pretty quickly. I want to pivot 100%, 180-degree pivot. A lot of these kids that are on here right now that are in this weekend, you're going to see these kids tweet out about blessed to see year number 16 and 17 coming up. Like Kamori, we had Kamori on the show. We have chopped it up with Kamori, hung out in person, and then dude drops the blessed to see 17, and it always drags me back to reality because it's these are 15, 16-year-old kids that we're dealing with right now. Like most of us are like, talking about the 19, 20-year-old college player, but man, bro, there's some youth happening here, and so it is. That's always hard too because I mean, I don't. I was pretty good at baseball when I was 15, 16. I wasn't to the level that these guys are. These guys are at football. To be able to play D1 is a lot different than being a guy who plays at a blue blood in D1 and is a dude. And man, it's I don't know what they're going through right now. Just because it is the world is being opened up to you. You're seeing this stuff, and you're seeing some of these some of these names hopping in, and it's eye opening. And I know that they've been freaks and they've been the best of the best for quite a while. And I see your Cowboys dropped Drew Evers was in the house. His mom Monica, where if you're a Sooner fan, you should be pretty familiar with Monica, because she is very, very vocal on social media, and I think that she really does have the opportunity to there you go, thank you God, yep. So there you go, there you have it. So a lot of youth being going on, and more than ever, the final point of what I'm trying to say here is they've been pulled and pushed by more people than kids were 5 years ago or even 4 years ago. There's so much going on now, and now they've got a video game. Now you've got NIL, and then you're going to have random people showing up and saying, I hear that I'm a proud alum of, Arkansas, and, I want to see if I can have a conversation with you about just kind of what your goals are. There's a lot of that stuff going on. And so, when you get a chance to see some of the social media feeds, cool beds, the gear, the smoothies and stuff like that, man, just, encourage these kids to just have fun and enjoy the process.
What's crazy to me is in transitioning on that, let's talk about our guy, Emmett Jones. I've always been big on getting that man a raise. Seems to be bringing in a lot of kids.
Yeah.
There's some wide receivers in there from the 25 like, all right, we got one spot left at wide receiver, I guess you could say.
We
I'm
could do
trying to
with
figure out
0 spots left.
the way that the way he's recruiting, I don't think it really matters. But he's gonna get the ones that he, of course, not only he wants, but some of the best ones out there in college football. But if I'm correct, looking at the list from PG, we had a couple 25s in there. Looks like Marsh
Marsh.
potentially showed up, right? Quincy Porter. Like, I didn't even know about Quincy Porter at all, right?
Yeah.
And then Tanuk Hines potentially showed face. Man, we look. Emmett Jones is killing it. Coop, who do you think is going to be the last wide receiver to come in this class if we take one? Which I think we do.
Man, there's going to. That's the benefit of Emmett Jones right now. As you, to steal the words of Tony Stark, kick back, relax, put he's got the world taken care of, rest with a nice margarita. That's literally, he can literally just go searching for diamonds in the rough, or go to all of these receivers, all these top guys like Andrew Marsh, and just be like, man, I got one spot left, and we've got nine people we're kind of looking at. We've had a relationship for a long time, and we'd love to have you. But I mean, it's literally, as a seller, which is what these guys are, you have to be able to willingly say, like, I would love to have your business, but we're going to go on with or without you, and either hop on the train or watch it drive away from the station. And I mean, he's got that capability, because I mean, there's 26 guys that are ready. There's 27 guys. I think I sent you something a couple of weeks back of, it was at Tay Ellis, like 14 or 15 years old, has been getting attention and stuff like that. And I'm like, Emmett Jones is kind of hanging out with, 14, 15, 16-year-olds right now, because his business is done up until that point. So if we can pull Marsh, I'd like to see I'd like to see somebody with really, really good route running or really, really good physical tools. Both of them would be terrific. And so we've got a bevy of receivers that are, in the 24 class, 25 class. And Emmett, I don't know. Anytime that you will ever tell me Emmett Jones' salary, I'm going to say too low, because there's no chance that we're paying him enough.
And man needs to be paid more, just because he's just
Too
that
low.
good at his job. He really is just that good at his job. So
Him, Hall.
we've been blessed. I'll just put it that way in what we're getting right now. And yeah, and Sooner Cowboy, I just checked out Kamar. I'll dive into him a little bit more another time. I think that's an interesting top 6 that he dropped this morning. There's been a lot of the top sixes picks and
Yeah.
stuff lately. But here's one that y'all should be excited about, of course. This is the one that y'all have all been hoping that we would see. Now, I don't think he gave us a silent, but we do know we have an official visit here from Ty Haywood, the offensive lineman
Yeah.
out of Texas. He'll be here June 14th through 16th. And
Yeah.
this is another Beat and Bow special, right? This is another guy that everyone's been asking the question: does Beat and Bow still got his fastball? And Beat and Bow has shown us over and over, oh, he got it. He's recruiting the dudes he wants and needs. And I try to post as many videos as possible because I've gotten a lot of random comments in a lot of my videos of people just being frustrated, right? And I get it, right? I understand that we want to take every 5-star out there, but at the same time, when you get players like Ryan Fogier, who goes from unranked all the way into the top 100 after his film gets evaluated, that's the excitement. And it's cool. If you guys did not check it out, I did a video Saturday. I dropped a video Saturday morning, hung out with Colin Kennedy from 247 and Sooners Illustrated. He dropped some articles recently, and the conversation was, of course, a great time because he kind of broke down how these players starting to get caught. Like one player he said to definitely look out for coming here was Trent Wilson, right? He was probably the biggest name
Yeah.
coming in that he said to really pay attention to when he talked to him in Atlanta. Um, he likes Oklahoma a lot. And, I mean, he's rocking Georgia gear while talking to him because he's from Georgia. So it's granted. But at the same time, there's a lot of excitement around Oklahoma going into SEC country, which that's something to be happy about, right? As we travel out to
Yeah.
these places and play ball, a lot of these kids are paying attention to us. I've had a few parents hit me up. Actually, one parent, I think he's probably in here, and he made mention to me like, "Hey, in this area, there's a lot of buzz around Oklahoma, and the kids know what Venables can do because Venables used to recruit a lot of the players from their schools back in his Clemson days. So they're like, they know what he's about, they know what's available. So they're like, yeah, keep an eye out for it. So, real quick, little housekeeping. Please hit that like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review, all that jazz. And if you are, if you're listening to the audio version, rate and review, do that jazz, as well as the Autograph app. Check it out in the description below. Download that bad boy. That partnership is fun. All the content you're looking for all in one place, links to podcasts and all of that. Check it out in that bad boy. So, Coop, this Ty Haywood, how you feeling about him? Right, he's already got a prediction. I think it was a prediction from On3. The Inside Texas guy, Justin Wells, thinks that Oklahoma's going to win this one. How you feeling about that?
While we were navigating through the 24 class, the bad offensive line hole that we were going after, we were very, very vocal that there was a lot of there was, I guess, not a lot of offensive line talent in the area. And so when we started going after guys and we didn't land them, it was frustrating. But I mean, I still got to say, looking back at this line that we just signed, it outpaced what I thought was going to happen. I mean, just outpaced it significantly. And we started pointing towards 25 because of guys like Ty Haywood, Hollenbeck, Fasusi, and Lamont Rogers. We started looking towards there because there's just so many dadgum guys over here. The Haywood thing, like he's a guy that has had a relationship with Beanball for quite a long time, and if we land him, this is going to be. I mean, he's going to be the guy. Like that's going to be I think his best signee, and it's kind of like this year's defensive line. Like, do you say it was Okoye? Do you say it was David Stone? Do you say it was Gilmore? Nigel? How? And right now, Jaden Jackson is balling out and demanding that his name is not forgotten. So that's how it's going to be this year with the offensive line. And then you get guys like, Zayden Oh, come on. No, Crimpin. He's an offensive lineman that was in the house today from 2026 or this week. He is another guy who is going to be. I mean, Zayden Krempin. If I'm getting the name right, that's a name you want on your. I mean, Dane Zaslow. If Zaslow, do you remember? If anybody remembers that name, so
Mhm.
we've got. Here's what I'm. If you need anything out of me, trust me. Like, yes, we understand that he is not just going to walk in and do whatever he wants with whoever, but he has relationships. He's sending. Just got an extension today. With I think is he a Bengals guy? Bengals Browns. I can't remember where he's at. Cody Ford. Somebody help me out here in the chat.
He's
But
with the Bengals.
okay, so he just got an extension, and before you say anything, who is their number one player that their team will go or not? Joe Burrow. What do you put around him? Absolute studs. So yeah, this is going to be a year. If we start with Haywood, we've already got Hollenbeck on. Hollenbeck is going to be, he is going to be either inside the center area or the guard, but he is going to be a guy that is going to bring some flexibility. Same thing. I mean, Fasusi. Fasusi is a guy who I think that could walk in and go right now. I think that Michael Fasusi is probably one of the guys that I love the most that I've never spent any effort going after to have conversations with just because of PG's conversations with him. And so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. So, I mean, this is going to be a fun offensive line because I think that we have the NIL opportunities. If you follow the Oklahoma breakdown, you know that Gabe's family is part of the Loves family. They are reaching out and they're trying to go directly for offensive linemen. I know it's kind of like tongue in cheek, but still. So find out if you can help out. If it's Crimson and Cream Collective, $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever you do, just get in there because that's going to help us get this. And I don't think that we're ever going to pony up $1 million for a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman or anything like that. But we definitely want to have a strong representation when it comes towards the NIL. And this is the year on the offensive line that we're going to see the turnout kind of like the defensive line this year.
Yeah, it's Zayden Crimpin is who you were talking
Okay,
about.
that's all right.
26. So that you
I,
did say it
I
right.
I just didn't want to say Kremlin or crumpet. So I was just trying to stay away from those two words.
Crimpin. It's Crimpin, and
Okay.
you just said them just now. But
Crimpin ain't easy. Crimpin ain't
Crimpin
easy,
ain't
Jay.
easy. That's actually the easiest way to say it. I like that you went with that. Crimpin ain't easy. And it's funny because I was
Yeah.
looking at that the Kamar Archie top 6, right?
Yeah.
Let me see if it'll let me share this one in there. He's up there in the New Jersey area, and he's been recruited by Brent Venables since he was a
Mm-hmm.
freshman, right? And this was back when he was at Clemson, and so for him,
Yep.
it's yeah, I like what he's doing. We know what he's putting together. I'm totally in there, and he's already said that he's got his official visit scheduled for June. So, of course, that means we
That
got
guy looks like, I mean, Kamar Archie kind of looks like he's already, been on cell block D for a few years. Like, that is a grown man. Like, this is a guy to where this is who we want on our team. I mean, God bless, Danny Stutzman and everybody to be like, that's a 17-year-old, 16-year-old kid in that picture.
grown man.
I mean, that is a grown man. And that is the difference when you talk Clemson, Alabama, Georgia. Like, we've got guys that to the normal person, right? Like, to be, I saw a video the other day, like, I'm 6'1" at that area. And I think it's something 13% of men are above 6 feet or taller. And so, like, think of that. I mean, when you're looking at this kid, like he's already physically outperformed, most men in their entire life, and that's what he's going to look like. This is why we need, when you're going to the SEC, this is why people think that the SEC is going to eat Oklahoma up, is because everybody looks like that. Everybody looks different. Everybody is absolutely physical freaks. And we've got to have guys like that, more guys like that. The backups need to look like that. The scout teams need to look like guys that we were running out there with Lincoln Riley 3 or 4 years ago. So I know that's a little bit of a seemingly drunk rant, but I mean, like, guys like that's who we go after. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we do here at the show. We have our drunk rants, but as mentioned before earlier, Monica Evers was in town. That's Drew Evers standing there with Beaton Bow, looking like a giant human being. The Evers family still has love for Oklahoma, it seems like. The man is in town, and I know I've read a few places that Drew actually likes Oklahoma. He's got a lot of love for what the staff is and what we're doing, and the biggest beef that was had when it came to Oklahoma, it appears to be gone. So of course I'm just saying,
listen, hey, man, my 8-year-old daughter didn't make the school play, and I had feelings, and so like. Your kid has been a stud his whole entire life, and he gets somewhere, and then we run out to OU Texas sans Dylan Gabriel, and how would you not be frustrated? But again, life goes on, things move, and I'm pretty sure if I'm the Evers family and my son is talking to Bill Bedenbaugh, and I see Twitter and I see all the contracts that are going on with offensive linemen and more are going to happen, we want what's best for our kids, right? And they thought that Nick being the starting quarterback was best for the kid. I promise you, their son learning under Bill Bedenbaugh, that's best for their kid. So yeah, you got to think that after a year up there in Wisconsin, they probably were like, we got a better idea about things. A lot of similar things are going on here too. And so maybe our perceptions need to change a little bit. I'm not sure. I'm not part of the family. But what I do know is I'll take him on the offensive line because that's a big grown man too.
Oh yeah, I like young linemen that we get our hands on and be able to mold. Beanbo has this ability to do that, right? Michael, thank you for the $2. We really appreciate it. Director's chair with the words on set. Yeah, I like that. Noted.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
Jason, I like Jason's comment. There's a lot of commas in the OU NFL O-line contracts. Shout out to Hall of Fame Jason. I mean, I absolutely, I absolutely just. I mean, I love the victory tour that I think Bill Bedenbaugh is going to have this year because he is going. Because I think that our offensive line is going to over. Let's see here. Everybody underestimates. So I think they're going to overachieve. That's what I was looking for. I talk for a living, so that's good.
I agree with you there. I see overachieving. And then the way we're playing.
And then I think what are we taking, like 21, 20-ish people in this 25 class? So if he tosses in the potential best offensive line haul that he's ever had this year, it's going to be in a top 10, bottom of the top 10 type of a class this year because we just won't be able to take as many people. But I mean, he is going to have a victory tour. And if you're a Bedenbaugh, hater, I mean, save your bookmarks. But, I think we got ours too. And I think that's between the NFL contracts, he has made chicken salad out of something else quite often. And, again, we're going to see it's going to be a little bit different on the offensive line. Jay, you and I have talked about this, but when you run the RPO, there's a lot of like rounded edges in what these offensive linemen do. They can't technically always just go out there and go, hey, I'm dead on running this play, or hey, this is a 100% a pass play. So they're always kind of in this like no man's land. And I think that this year, under this new offensive play calling, we're going to see that. We're going to see more of a that the air raid style offense, and the offensive linemen are going to have a lot more clear cut, job responsibilities, and they're going to know what to do and be able to do it better. So yeah, overachieve.
And here's one name that I've been seeing pop up a lot over the last couple of hours today, and scrolling through social media was this offensive line, John Turntine. He came through. If I'm correct, he's 2026, and it appears that Oklahoma really got his attention on this visit. Right? He's a big kid, and again, Beatonbow is putting in work. So I'm not concerned about next year. I'm pretty excited about it. I think that the offensive line is going to be one that's going to be the biggest surprise. We talk about it a lot, specifically because that is one with the biggest question marks, but I think it's going to definitely overachieve based upon the expectation. So thank y'all for pulling up. Hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Please rate, review. Also, if you're listening to the podcast version of this, a lot of rambling, but a lot of fun. We're just hanging out, checking the comments. Thank y'all for popping them in there. All right, real quick, let's talk Baker. Baker got the contract, guys. I, of course, lost my mind to see Baker Mayfield show up here. 3-year, $100 million deal with $50 million guaranteed. Former Oklahoma quarterback. Got the money that we anticipated he was going to get. And I ask you this, Coop, when you saw that that the Buccaneers want to hang on to him, man, did you think it was going to actually happen?
Yeah, I mean, when the Mike Evans deal happened, that was it. That told me everything I needed to know. And to be honest with you, that made me more excited than the Baker contract did, because I just had a feeling that maybe it's the PTSD from him being in both Cleveland and Carolina, which, I mean, it's never mind. I'm not even going to go there. I'm just saying this. No. But I say this is, I said it would be the most Baker bad luck for Evans to bounce and go somewhere else. And so, yeah, no, I just, so when they signed him, I was extremely happy. I was extremely jacked up. And then, obviously, I mean, there's conversations going around that, like, if he could get somewhere in the $20 to $25 million range, he would be, basically overachieving at that point. Negative Ghost Rider, he pulls the 33, and it's up to 115 with incentives. So what that tells me about how his contract was made is, listen, they say that they were willing to probably give him, one of the bigger contracts in the league, with the guaranteed money, but they backed it down a little bit and they gave him some more incentives, because I think that they believe in him and they're willing to pay that. So this is Tampa Bay saying, like, listen, if you can get us back up towards that 10-win mark, get us back in the playoffs, win a playoff game, and put us in the NFC Championship game again, you're worth just as much as everybody else is. And so, yeah, I mean, congratulations for Baker. Dude bet on himself, like Lamar Jackson did, and he got his money. And I feel so good for it, because, I mean, he is. Granted, I don't know if the rest of the world looks at him like I look at Draymond Green, but a lot of people hate this dude. A lot of people hate this dude,
pretty wild
and I just don't understand. Yeah, I don't. I mean, yeah, for like, I'm not even going to drop his name, but a sports host in Oklahoma City absolutely hates this clown. And he calls him a clown. Says, because the dude ran from the cops. Listen, I'll just say, there's not a lot that I see people do, and I'm like, yeah, I never did anything close to that. Running from I'd never have ran from the cops, but I've been very drunk and gotten very lucky in very public places a lot. And I'm not going to. And if the Kansas people were trash talking me and doing all that stuff to me too, I would have done a lot worse gestures. And guess what? That plant of the Ohio State flag, that was iconic. So I say all that to this is, dude, Sooner Cowboys, exactly like you said. He shut up the haters. He went out there. He was given an opportunity with a good franchise, and he went and did it. And look at Cleveland, because there's a lot of folks in Cleveland right now who are going, yeah, I think we messed that one up, and they were excited about the old massage parlor, but I think he had 6 touchdowns this year, and Baker was in the top 10 in almost every statistic.
He outplayed his contract easily, right? I mean, just coming in there, taking a 1-year deal, taking base feels like minimum for what a quarterback goes nowadays as a premium as a starter, and betting on himself. Yeah, he did everything he needed to do, and I like the fact that he went ahead and took the incentive heavy 3-year deal, because the good thing for him is as the contracts as the TV deals come in, because next year the contract itself kicks in and the salary cap jumped like 20 something million. It's a lot of extra money to spend, and Baker taking a quote unquote team friendly contract, it's going to give him the ability to jump in and renegotiate if they continue to ascend up over the next year or two. Mike Evans, his wide receivers back, and he's even professed how much he wanted to play with Baker Mayfield. So when Mike signed back first, I was like, okay, Baker's got to be right behind them, because that you can they have a dynamic they enjoy it. And Mike Evans continued his 1,000-yard seasons with Baker, and honestly, he'd probably have more touchdowns if he didn't drop as many passes. That's the good thing, is that he was just that good and talented. He was on it. Yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, happy birthday to PG. He's here in the comment. He went out and had a birthday dinner. That's why he didn't show up today. He decided that his birthday was more important than hanging out with me. He turned 22.
He's turning 21, 22,
he 22 this year. He turned 22, so he's now legal overall. So we'll appreciate him or whatnot. So all that. Mike, thank you for the $5. We appreciate it. Video game controller looks so long in between the words try again.
I don't know what this means, and I saw that comment.
Behind me. I don't have my
in between the words.
But hey.
Maybe your shirt? Something to do with your shirt, maybe?
Yeah, could be. I don't see the try again in here. But I'm holding a couple beers, though, because we're celebrating. It's a celebration, guys. It's a celebration, 100%, that Baker got that deal, which, of course, we're excited about. So outside of that, I can expect Tampa to go ahead and win that division again, because I don't see anybody else there getting a quarterback that's going to be able to walk in and take that away from us right now. And Sooner Cowboy, please feel free to leave the Cowboys and join the bandwagon of my Buccaneers. I got an application together already for you. I've been a Bucs fan since the 90s, so I've actually been there while they were losing. But the beauty of it is I've seen them win 2 Super Bowls in the last 24 years. Not very many Dallas Cowboy fans can say that.
Well, as a Denver Broncos fan, there was a lot of whispers of hope that if Tampa Bay fumbled that, and I was like, I don't think Denver can't do it. They just cut homeboy, and it's like $84 million in dead money. But no, I mean it's and I saw the comment about Judy going to the Browns. You know what? I mean,
they cleaning house, man.
Jerry
Judy.
I mean, it's hard to have expectations for a guy who just keeps on. Every time that he looks like he's going to do something, no, it's Dominic. I remember mock drafts with CD going to the Denver Broncos, and those were very, very happy times in my life. And I swear to God, if I've seen a mock draft that we take Bo picks, and I will be decommitting from. It'll be the first time I ever quit liking a team if that happens. I will flip full Tampa Bay.
The transfer portal. You're entering the transfer portal.
I listen. Tim Tebow was strike 1 and 2. If they get Bo Nix, that's it. That's it for me.
I mean, Bo Nix is what he'll be the as old as Justin Fields or older at that point. I mean, it may not be too bad for y'all. No.
And now, listen. I know that Justin Fields is still going to make millions of dollars, and so that's why I don't have full sympathy for him. But how would you like to be that cat? Like he was like a top 5 fantasy quarterback 2 years ago, right? And then now you're like staring Caleb Williams and all of his drama and all of that in the face, and you're like, yeah, we're in for that instead. Listen, Cleveland's bad, Carolina's bad, Chicago ain't far behind. So, I mean, they kind of deserve each other.
No, that's I mean, you're right. And I'm praying for you and your Denver Broncos because you are definitely way more on the struggle bus than me.
we're heading, we're joining the XFL next year, I believe.
I mean, if y'all what y'all need to, well, I understand what Sean Payton's doing, not to go too far into the NFL talk, but I mean, he had to come in there and completely redo everything that John Elway was doing to y'all. I still don't understand how John Elway can't evaluate a quarterback. Can anybody explain that to
Bro,
me?
it's the same reason why Michael Jordan couldn't be a coach, and it's
Why he was a
because
terrible front office guy? Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
sometimes you are just when you're an athlete, it is very, 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 very rare. Like everybody knows that like college coaches going to the NFL and being successful is very rare. Well, it is much more rare for an athlete like Michael Jordan or an athlete, one of the greats to turn around like Derek Jeter and because they have a drive and they have a will to win that like there's no drill for. And if you don't have it, you just don't have it. But some of these six guys like Tiger Woods, like winning, it's like if they don't win, they are not good. And so they just don't see it sometimes. And, I'll say this is, I mean, since John Elway, there has not been a quarterback that has came up through the Denver. I mean, we pulled Peyton Manning for a little bit, and we were the ones who took a risk on his neck, and we did really, really good. And then we tried to do it with Russell Wilson, and it fell on its face. So, but that's more Denver press than we need to ever give them ever again.
yeah. Well, the good thing is Mims is there, and I think Mims now that Jerry Judy's gone, you've got
Yep,
Marvin Mims being able to really run things. Nick Benito on the defensive side. Jamar Kane is the defensive line coach, which he got promoted, if I'm correct.
yep, yep.
Oklahoma's got a lot of representation out there in Denver, so I
It's pretty
we
good.
can
Yeah,
get
and
right. I think
we were talking about Quentin.
Turner Yale is still there as well.
Yeah, DTY is still there. Yep, and right before that, Quentin Carter had a long career there too. So yeah, they enjoy. In I think did they have Cody Ford for? They had one of the offensive linemen for from that Joe Moore for a bit too. So I mean, I would like to see more of those cats come over. So, but yeah, yeah, that is pretty elite with Mims doing what he did, and
Yep.
it's he is when he ran that 40 and it clocked where it did. That was very, very surprising. But yeah, he's going to be able to step up, and if he can stay healthy, that's been the only thing that stopped most of our big time receivers in the NFL. It has been injuries because CD's and he's balling out. But you got guys like Broyles and Sterling Shepard, injuries.
Yeah, no, that is yeah, the injury bug is not something that can be avoided if it decides to attack you and bite you. It seems to attack and bite you. But at the same time, the other thing to be excited about is that there's a lot of Sooners still there on that roster, and we
Yeah,
can continue to cheer.
which is what this podcast is about, the Sooners, not the NFL. Sorry, guys.
So it's fine to get the rain in. We have off season content,
Yeah,
and Coop just decided to leave me. There he is. Off season content is we're just trying to figure out what to talk about. Right, we're at the point where it's quiet. It's but at the same time, I'm hoping we can get more Sooners out there to Tampa Bay to work with Baker. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. So, all right, let's look. Comments, good. anything. Yeah, Cody Ford is with the Bengals. He never went to Denver. He was actually in Buffalo and then Arizona for a year. But
Yeah,
Cody
there. I don't
Ford
think it
with
was
the
Cody
Bengals.
Ford.
I can't think of who
There
that
was
was, but
somebody
he was
else.
there. There was somebody else that was there. But the good thing is Benito is still there doing it now. Oh yeah, there are a lot of Sooners going to KC. So yeah, that's kind of that's another place, especially because Andy Reid and them just loves what Beaton Bow does with offensive linemen. And so I anticipate one of our offensive linemen to get drafted there to be right behind. Hell, we may see Andrew Rain go there. That'd be fascinating.
Mm, I don't know if I'm Andrew. If I'm Andrew Ram, I don't want to go there because I'm never taking Creed's spot.
I'd go there just so I wouldn't have to. I mean, make a whole bunch of money to be the backup to a dude that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that would not be bad.
Not be a bad thing. I'd gladly go be scout team, man. There's a certain level of wanting to play, but at the same time understanding like Blake Bell knows that he's there to be right there behind Travis
Yeah,
Kelsey, and he'll show up when they need him to. But at the same time, he's still close to home, making a good check, and he didn't have to do too much work. I really want to be out. Chase Daniels was the job I would have gladly have taken. That journeyman made millions just being a backup and showing up when needed, busting his butt, being basically a coach on the scout team for everybody, right?
yeah.
Probably the only Missouri
It's
player I'd
been
ever give props to.
Ben Powers is there now. That's who it was. I knew it was the guys. I think Guyton might end up in Dallas. I don't think that they're going to resign Smith. I think Tyler Guyton's a Dallas. I think he's Dallas bound. And is that in the? I mean, that's a is it 24th pick overall? I think is what Dallas has. I've seen him going as high as like 14, 15. I that's a situation to where he goes first round. I don't care if it's he's not going to be in the top 10. So as long as it's in the first round, it's just first round.
Yeah, and even with that, so talk about it. NFL draft coming up. Tyler Guyton and Sooner Cowboys. A great question here. Where do we think Guyton's going to go? I'm gonna be honest. Guyton's first round, right?
Mm-hmm.
The last set of predictions I've seen was in the 20s. Oh man, I could see him in Dallas. I
Yeah,
mean, with Smith bouncing out, supposedly he can end up out east. Um 24, I can totally see Dallas picking him up there. Now, that's if he lasts that long. If he makes it to 24, he's a Cowboy. That's one thing I tell you Jerry Jones loves to do is drafting offensive linemen in the first round, which he's been really good at. If there's anything I can give to the way that Jerry Jones does things is he's very good at getting offensive linemen and
yeah,
defensive players. He'll get you some players that's going to be efficient. Problem usually is that um yeah, everything else around the organization is dysfunctional enough. But I can totally see him going to Dallas at 24. If he goes earlier, he could end up. I mean, Pittsburgh kind of needs a quarterback, but they'd be dumb taking a quarterback at number 20. That's a number. I've always had a rule around quarterbacks: don't draft a quarterback after 10 or before 30. It's usually those dudes in the middle just always never last, do very well. You got a couple here and there, but if you can't get them if you can't get them at 10, nobody else is probably going to pick them until after 30, right? Go
yeah.
ahead and trade into number
I
30,
mean,
31, or 32. Get that extra fifth year, but make them as a project and got a good chance. But I can see Guyton going 2021 in that range. Like I said, I definitely can see him ending up at the Cowboys. So if there's any way I say the Cowboys.
yeah, yeah. That's it. I I look at Raim and Rouse as being day. I mean, into day two, but most likely day three guys. Most. I mean, it's probably vast. Highly likely they're both going to be. Rouse is going to be big, strong, impressive. He's going to have good technique. They're going to have a good idea. He's going to have a good idea. With the Stanford education, people are going to believe that he's going to, not be rattled and be intelligent. Raim, I mean, Raim has pretty much been a guy who's been hampered by injuries most of his career at Oklahoma, and now you saw his last 2 years. He stayed healthy, and it was good. So I mean, like there's a conversation to be said that he can continue to get stronger and stronger and stronger because of of that capability. He only has to focus on football. So I think he's a steal that you can get in the 6 or 7. If you get him in the 5th round, I think it ends up being pretty good. I think if you get Raym in the 6th or 7th round, there's a chance that you could have quite a steal.
No, I agree with you there. I think if you can steal him late in the draft, yeah, him, Walter Rouse as well, which I think Rouse is probably going to end
Yeah.
up being. I think he's a day 2 guy. I'm sensing late day 2, early day 3. Somebody there's good opportunity for him to go in a better spot than expected, right? I mean, he could sneak into. I heard his combine was good. He could sneak into the third,
Hmm.
third round. But I'm thinking late day 2, early day 3. And I see him and Raym going around the same spot, not too far from each other. But Raym would definitely be a steal if you could snatch him up late, right? He'd be a project, but at the same time, he's got enough work ethic, and you understand the tree that he's coming from. He can make it happen, and I like this.
Yeah.
I like this. Tampa Bay picking him up, that would be good. We could use a center in Tampa, right? Um,
Hmm.
we could use some extra depth there, and if Raym can work his way up, now that would be an awesome story of a quarterback and a center from Oklahoma together.
And
Chef's kiss.
and then there's another player that I think a lot of people are saying. Here's my thing: if Drake Stoops can somehow get drafted in the top 5 rounds, that's great for him. If he falls to 6 or 7, I think it's not as good. I'd like to see him hit up as a free agent, because then he kind of gets to make his choice. Because I could see him going to several places. Drake could do a lot of good in the slot for former quarterbacks from Oklahoma. So whether he ends up at Tampa Bay or Arizona, I mean, heck, Jalen Hurts, I would love some over the middle route running. It's going to be good. I just don't. Cowboys, Center Cowboys. I understand. I don't think that he gets drafted. I think that would stay pretty good for him, because this is a pretty. There's a lot of receivers in this draft. There's quite a few. So if you need a guy that can be an over the middle, I mean, I've always said to the Patriots would be great, but that's a different game now. So, but yeah, I'd like to see him go somewhere. More of a West Coast feel. I'm sure Shanahan could use the hell out of him out there in San Francisco.
Yeah, I'll be honest. If Drake doesn't get drafted in the first 5 rounds, I'd rather him be an undrafted free agent. That way he can
Hmm.
quote unquote choose where
Yes.
he wants to go. And I bet you he ends up in a much better situation. Somebody's gonna take a flyer on him. Like, he's gonna end up at camps. And when he gets to camps, he's gonna show out because he's that elite of a route runner. Somebody's gonna give him the opportunity. And once he gets the actual opportunity, I sense that he'll end up sticking to somebody's roster. Market today, he'll be on
Yeah.
an NFL roster next season. I don't know
Oh
where.
yeah. 100%.
Somebody's going to take a flyer on him, and when they see him in practice and see him run the routes, they're going to be like, "Oh, okay, this dude is a lot better than I thought." I mean, especially after what he was doing at the senior day, senior game or whatnot, the Senior Bowl. He was putting dudes in the blender. And the bigger thing is that how good is he? Is what we ask, right? We wonder who's gonna really believe in him and give him that chance. And the bomb, thank you, man. You've been giving out memberships and stuff. I got some member content coming very soon, which is really good.
Yeah.
I know I've been slacking. That's on me. I got some content coming, so I appreciate that. Bomb, thank you for the 50. Yes, I agree. I think that Drake has a great opportunity to make something happen, right? I think he does. Somebody's gonna give him a shot. Rue, you asked the question about Bothroyd. Man, I don't know. Um, his the season here was, he graded fine. It was not as
He
exciting
had
as
a lot
we
of
hoped,
pressures.
but yeah, he
Yeah.
had a lot of pressures. He graded well, but at the same time, I've talked about this, before and at nauseum. We dealt with a lot of max protect, and because of that, that kind of hinders what you're trying to do when it comes to pass rush, right? It's hard to get around when everybody's got basically two people after on them. So, but besides that,
Yeah.
I do see I can see Bothroyd. I can see Bothroyd late. he most likely is going to be a. I think he'll be end up being an undrafted signee somewhere and actually playing from there. So
I
that's
do
kind of my
too.
best on there.
I do too.
Outside of him, who else that's in this draft that makes sense?
I mean, you know, we got a little something that's different because with so many people returning that could have left, that I mean, you've got Billy Bowman, Danny Stutzman, Dejoun Terry, you know, Devon
Lulu.
Sears. You got so many people. I don't think Lulu. I think he's an undrafted free agent. I think he makes it somewhere.
I think he
Just
sits on the
because,
practice squad somewhere.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But it's here's what I know is right now you can look at what is on this roster, and in the SEC, we need to be sending at around 10 at minimum every single year to the to the combine and sending them through.
Yep.
Um, you look at you looked going into this year like I don't know really who is going to be that guy. I mean, we thought if Guyton had another great year, there it is. But you've got so much great talent in the defensive backfield in our safety room. You've got, and I know that family just came in here, but you look at a guy like Reggie Powers coming to this team, that is an embarrassment of riches. I mean, I will never give up on this. Brandon Hall is right behind Emma Jones, and then Jay Valai, same thing. Both these guys, it is going to be hard to keep these guys here. It is absolutely going to be hard because you've got a phenomenal wide receiver room going against a phenomenal defensive back room, and those guys are going to sharpen each other. So I'm so excited about that. But yeah, you're going to see guys. Gentry Williams is probably going to be the beginning next year, I think, because I think Gentry Williams is a first round type talent. I don't know if Bowman or Stutzman can get in the first round, but after that, you're going to start seeing more and more and more guys because you just all you got to do is look at the athletic freaks that we have in the safety room.
Yep. And so, good question here by Sooner Cowboys. Freshman most excited about to see. Both mine on the defensive side is going to be Powers as well as Jaden Jackson, right? We talked with Colin Kennedy, dropped that video yesterday. Go check that out. And you actually see it in the description as one of the recommended videos. But Colin was talking about how, of course, everywhere he goes, he talks about Reggie Powers. I do it too. I talk about him a lot.
Yep.
I try not to talk about him as much now because he was literally the one I talked about the most moving up into spring
Yeah.
ball. And yeah, spring football starts tomorrow. So, we jump into that before we wrap it up. Bro, it's gonna be fun hearing the stories of people them helmets cracking, right? It's knock on
Yeah.
wood that we stay healthy. We all know Stoney's gonna be good big time, right? We already know he walked in with that. Biggest thing with him is just getting his weight up, and he said that himself. Get his weight and maintain his speed and ability at the same time. Daniel Collier, the same thing, right? The 24 class, dog, that's the class. This class part of Team 130 is just absurdly talented.
It,
And we did a great job refreshing. And you mentioned this earlier, and I wanted to jump on that, and I'm gonna pass it back to you before we wrap up. This class coming in 25, I do anticipate to be a little bit smaller than normal. Mainly because, well, the good thing for us, first off, we've got a lot more commitments now than we did the last couple of years because all these kids weren't trying to get their spaces, right? They recognize that, okay, you could take unlimited kids, no need to worry. When we were starting the 25 recruiting, it was at let me get my spot and get my place now because I want to play. This is a committable offer. I'm gonna go ahead and commit now. That way I don't have to worry about this or worry about if somebody else decides to come through and try to compete for my recruitment spot. Well, after they announced that 2025 and going forward, the amount of kids you can recruit is still indefinite. That is why you're now seeing it slow down on the commitment side. So don't be afraid to think that people are second guessing. No, it's more so now that it's been official that you can recruit up to 85 kids in your class, everybody's slowing it down. They're like, let's slow down. You don't need to fight for a spot because we've got time. If we're going to take you, we're going to take you. But I do anticipate with the limited number of scholarships we've got, we're going to not take as many kids as we did before, right? It's going to be, things are going to slow down in that capacity. So I sense that that's what we're going to see going forward. I sense that it's going to be, we'll start seeing the commitments come through April. We'll probably see a couple in April. You may see a couple going in May. I think the bulk of our commitments will be in July or June at the weekends. And in July, it's going to just blow up and we'll see busyness. So be excited about that. As we go into this spring game, though, Coop, who's the two that jumps out to you that they really get you excited? I mentioned Powers and Jaden Jackson. This entire class excites me because there's so
Yeah,
many
this
kids
isn't.
here that's going to be able to participate this year.
Yeah, it's not fair.
It
I
really
mean,
isn't. Yeah.
but like, there's somebody that whoever you say, don't forget about, don't forget
Yep.
about that. Like, it's yeah,
Everybody's
okay.
putting names in
So
here, right? We're seeing Nigel. We're
freaking
seeing
Dan, yeah, Nigel.
Kobe.
Listen, Nigel's like my buddy. Danny, I asked him, "Are you for real up 22 pounds already?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, just trying my best." And I was like, "Bro," he goes, "I didn't even know." And so, like, again, when we say like some of these guys don't even know what they are yet, like Danny has been playing with, I mean, homeschool kids. Like, it's not. I mean, he is the like again. If you're going to try to stretch yourself, it's hard to stretch yourself when you're hurting folks. Like, I'm not going to go test out my basketball prowess against my daughter's 8 and under team. Like, that's not going to be it because I'll never be able to see how good I really am. Yeah, so I would just Zion Kearney. Everybody forgets about him, and I know Power Senior there just said that. We're forgetting about this guy quite often,
Yeah. Yeah,
huh?
we do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Reggie
yeah.
Bowers Jr. Pops. He's in
He's
here. Yeah.
yeah.
So many kids that the class, Ivan Carry On. Like,
Oh yeah. Carry on is still he's in the Mark Andrews predicament right now. Is all right? How close up to the line am I wide or lining up for my route there, Coach? And then why is Joe John Finley always around here when you're talking to me there, Coach Jones? So I'm hoping that that's an issue. But yeah, I mean, you've got we always forget about, and he's not even on campus yet. But Zion Ragens, like, I mean, this is a guy who is going to just fly around. And then, yeah, and I see like as Sooner Legends talking about down here is when you listen to Okoye talk, like I'm excited to see what Danny becomes, not because of my relationship with him, but like I'm excited because I think that he is going to peel layer by layer back the longer he's in school and start realizing who he is. And then X Rob is the other one. That is the one that I like. Do you understand that with Xavier Robinson, if he turns out to be, I mean, just a guy that transfers out, I wouldn't be surprised. If he turns out to be Derrick Henry, I wouldn't be surprised. So I just don't know what he's like. Where do somebody like what does Boganowski even become? Like, there are so many different pathways for so many of these different guys because, I mean, I made the comment, how would you like to be one of the backup linebackers for Maine? And then here comes Xavier Robinson, when you're already down 72 to nothing, and Xavier Robinson comes through and then just puts you on your backside after you've played this entire game and got your butt kicked. There's just so many different, great things. So just for the spring game, I mean, Zion Kearney is the number one. And I want to see X Rob get out there with some athletes and see what happens.
man, let me see who else out there.
And I
Course,
feel
X
like
Rob.
I'm cheating on 25 other players by not
Yeah.
saying them.
And Skink, what's good? Thanks for pointing this out. Tatum's not here yet. EPL won't be here yet as well. They're both going to
Yeah.
be in the summer due to other sports. Shockingly,
EPL's running
Nesta,
freaking track.
right, which is crazy. Yeah, but and EPL also goes to a school where you can't early
Yeah,
enroll.
Florida.
Yeah, which is kind of fascinating that Nesta's here and he's doing baseball early. That was intriguing when I saw that. I'm like, oh, he's gonna be doing
Not quite
baseball
sure.
now.
Yeah.
Figured he was gonna finish high school, but at the same time, at his talent level, he didn't need to. I was concerned about this summer when he goes in the draft. Depending if he goes up too high, we may, he may take the money and go play professional baseball because he's that good, or he may take a couple years and wait for it. We'll see, but yeah, I'm interested by that.
Jason, I've never had that thought, but I am now a massive advocate. I would love to see X Rob come on and Norneri come flying out there late in the game and him just X Rob just put him on his ass. I mean, that would be poetic and beautiful.
That's what we're here for. Yep, and those two are roommates. Thanks, pops. I love that you put dad on
Yeah,
there too. It's always cracks me up.
Reggie
Because
Powers'
everybody sees the
dad.
junior and they're like, wait, but forget Reggie Powers is the third, right? He's
For
RP
some
three.
reason, yeah, yeah, he's R3. So
He's
that's what
RP
always freaks
three.
me out
So
because
yeah,
I know that this is our current player's father on here, and but there's what's it like for every new memory or thought you have, something else has to leave. Mine's like a
yep,
sieve. So yeah, so
exactly. But the good
uh,
thing is that they're with them being roommates, they're probably fighting. So anyway, we got a little long. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this bad boy up, put a bow on it. Thank y'all for pulling up. Please hit the like button, YouTube channel, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. I think we deserve it. Let's give us 5 anyway. And with that, Coop's got a kid that's running around, and we're gonna go ahead and let him go hang on that. Oh, we've been on for about like an hour and hour 15, so we got a little longer than normal, but we'll have some more this Wednesday. I anticipate another guest player, one that we did not talk about for the draft. I'm anticipating is going to pull up. So keep your eyes open for that. We'll have a conversation with the former guest that's been here already before and then coming back again to talk ball. So keep your eyes open on that. Check out the Autograph app. Please download it. It's in the description below. If you're on social media, on like the Xbird, you can see it pinned to my at the top of my pinned to my profile. That's the word I was looking for, pinned to my profile. So check it out. With that, we will chop it up with all of y'all in the next couple days. Videos are coming every day. I promise you. We're going to have something. We'll talk soon. Peace.